This is everything I broke this season drifting my B5 A4. No hydro e-brake, no angle kit, just a welded diff. This is how it went down.
They just cut, they just ice, like my heart, yeah. Freezing. They just cut, they just ice, like my heart, yeah.
Drifting my B5 A4 this past season has been one of the most challenging and rewarding things that I've done. From driving 400 kilometers in a weekend to get to and from these events, I've learned a lot, and I want to share with you some of the key things I've taken away this year and some of the stuff I broke. So it really starts with before the event. I obviously don't have my fully caged B5 V8 swap all completely finished, but I want to get out there. I've been on the sidelines for long enough. I'm ready to start drifting. So I took my street B5 A4 that I had originally rear-wheel drive swapped and welded the diff. I did a few other basic quick things that I could, like upgrading the rear differential bushings to polyurethane, and then I also replaced all the axle hardware with 12.9 grade bolts, and I took the CV joints apart, re-greased them with some like exotic racing grease. Did that actually do anything? Who knows, but it was just some peace of mind. But I definitely didn't have time to do everything. The night before I left, I actually discovered that one of the 3 bolts that hold the turbo to the manifold had snapped. So I had a pretty big exhaust leak right between the manifold and the turbo. So the night before, I did not think that removing the turbo, trying to weld something to get that stud out, was gonna work out for me, so I just sent it and left. So the first event really wasn't about perfection. It was about just getting out there and starting to experience drifting. The car was pretty down on power. It was only making like 8 psi, and it is flashed, so it should be, you know, closer to 20. So that definitely kind of sucked, but I was still able to spin the tires, still able to have fun. But unfortunately, I started to realize that the power steering was the biggest issue. It would become heat soaked and you would lose it completely until you cooled the car down. But then even after it had cooled down, the power steering pump really started to feel chunky and not the greatest. But that all being said, the car did not leave me stranded. I was able to make it all the way back from Belleville, Ontario, where the track is, to Mississauga with pretty much no boost and a very leaky exhaust. But hey, I made it back. So learning from my mistakes, I realized what needed to be done before the next event. I swapped the turbo out for another one I had. It was just easier than dealing with that broken bolt. And frankly, the other turbo that I put in was a little better condition. Still a baby KO3, but hey, it actually was working properly. I also deleted the cat, free up the exhaust a little bit, and I finally got along to the power steering cooler. So I was going into the next one thinking, hey, the car is gonna be perfect. And it really did feel like a whole new car. It was spinning the tires completely different. It felt so much faster with a properly working turbo and the freeing up the exhaust without a cat. Definitely a great upgrade. But unfortunately, the abuse from the first event on that power steering pump with the fluid boiling over definitely took its toll, and the power steering pump was gone. I thankfully did bring a used one, and I was able to swap that out at the track Saturday night and was able to drift Sunday and drive home. But it did become very apparent that I needed a race seat. I was flopping around in the factory seats. It was not comfortable, and it was really hard to get a feel for the car, and especially transitioning, because you'd be like braced up, you know, going one way, and then when you transition you just slip slide, and yeah, it didn't work out for me. Okay, so let's just take a little break from hearing about how my past drift season went to take a look at how the build is going. I know a lot of people have been commenting and interested. I haven't been doing a lot posting on this, but I've been trying to knock out a lot of the boring stuff so that we can move to the fun stuff so you can see videos. Here's a little update as to what the car looks like as we keep progressing forward. It really means the world to me to hear everybody's comments about this build. I will definitely say it's taken me a bit longer than I originally planned for, but I think it's all going to be worth it in the end, and I really hope to help you guys in the community of B5 A4s trying to drift these. Let's get more of them out there, and I'd love to see and hear from all of you guys. Okay, that's enough rambling. Let's get back to how this year's drift season went for me. That's when G money hit my cell. Next day would've fucked up and ended up in a cell. Oh hell, ended up in a cell. I unfortunately did not have time to put in the race seat before the third event, but it's about being out there. The car was perfectly fine, so I said, hey, you know what, let's do it. I drove out to the track, and unfortunately this is where the first real failure happens. The front flex brake line ripped, and when I went to step on the brake pedal, there was just nothing. It definitely was pretty sketchy, but thankfully I was able to find 2 new front flex lines, and I was able to put those in and get back out there. But then the next failure happened, which was the water pump V-belt, which on this model of B5 A4, my street car, it's an early 1.8T with the tiny roll-on V-belt that goes between the water pump and the power steering pump. This was impossible to find anywhere in any store, and thankfully I did have a spare one. But if I didn't, I would have been totally screwed. It was a pain in the butt to install at the track. It unfortunately rained as well, and I pretty much had to take the nose completely off, slide it all the way into service position so I could get this roll-on belt on. But hey, I didn't get stranded once again. So this was really where I was starting to build some confidence in driving my car to these events and making it back. Every issue that I came across, I was able to fix at the track and drive the car home. By the last event, everything clicked. I finally had the race seat in. I was no longer flip-flopping around, and it was really easy to modulate the gas while transitioning, and I was really starting to be able to do those longer drifts and transitioning left to right, of course. The craziest part of all of this still to me was that I hadn't broken anything in the rear driveline. No broken axles, the diff didn't explode. This was one of the things that I was so scared was going to be the weakest link. I don't know if that's a test to the prep, driving style, the wheels and tires I used, or even just the fact that it was an all-stock 1.8T besides a flashing cat. All of those things added together might have been a very good contributing factor, but at this point I had so much trust in driving the car to an event, driving home. It's a daily practically. So I think some of the key takeaways here really is that it doesn't have to be perfect. I went out there just trying to drift. No angle kit, no big turbo, no hydro e-brake, just stock angle, a welded diff. and basic prep to make sure the car wasn't going to blow up. If you've been on the fence about drifting or rear wheel drive swapping your B5, honestly, take it from me and just do it. It's not that hard, and you can get out there and start having fun just simply. You don't need an angle kit, you don't need a hydro e-brake, you don't need some crazy car like the one I'm building behind me. I'm so excited to drive this car, but I am so glad that I took my street B5 this season and got out there. Thank you to everybody that is subscribed, commenting, liking, and asking about this build. I'm so excited to put out more videos about it, and I've got a lot of big things that I'm quite excited to share with you guys.